What's cracking, everybody? C4 Explosives here, knocking over his microphone. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do when you do watch these things. Just do those things. But just watch the video. I got something to say. I want to be very clear about something. And this isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't secret knowledge. It's not even that complicated. It's really simple. And when the truth is laid out on a silver platter for you, either two things are going to happen. Either you're going to be like, yeah, man, that makes total sense. Or you're going to be like, that's a lie, because it makes way too much sense. So let me start here. Maduro's an asshole. He's a bad dude. He's an authoritarian. He is corrupt. And that's all established. It kind of reminds me of Trump. But anyways, the real question is not whether Maduro is bad. The real question is who's going to replace him and who benefits from that. Now, Trump gave a speech about Venezuela, and if you listen carefully, he told you everything that you needed to know, right? He didn't lead with democracy or elections or Venezuela's going to self-rule. Nah, he led with this is a partnership. American oil companies are going to invest billions of dollars in Venezuela oil infrastructure. And that's not accidental, because money always comes before the people. And that's just the way they speak. And at the same time, what happens, right? You bomb a country, but all of a sudden, the war crimes for bombing boats all of a sudden disappears, right? What happened to all Jack Smith's testimony and the bombshells that hit figuratively, but literally, because Trump world is going to be rocked. And what do? They push the panic button. And they do what they do best. They distract. And they cause a gridlock on news channel cycles, because all they're talking about is Maduro and Venezuela and the occupation and the oil. And they don't have enough time to talk about the shit that's been going down. So, distraction. There is going to be a point. I got to say this before I go off. And yeah, I got to say this. So, what's going to happen when Trump decides that he is in it thick, deep, balls deep, and then he goes to push the panic button? What panic button is he going to push? They're going to get bigger and bigger. Nigeria, Venezuela. What's next? The nuke button isn't that far from those buttons. I'm just saying, he's going to panic enough. What does he got to lose? He doesn't got shit to lose. Let me get back on subject. Maduro's gone, right? His system isn't, though. His vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, is still in power. And let's be honest what that means. She's not the opposite. She's not reform. And she's not a break from business as usual. As a matter of fact, she's the same party. She's the same military, same security forces, same corrupt network. And this is not a regime change. This is just succession, right? Here's the analogy that makes this impossible to ignore. This is like removing Trump and pretending J.D. Vance represents a new direction. It's the same ideology, same donors, same power structure, same bullshit as usual, just a different face. And that wouldn't count as a revolution. That just counts as what? This is a game. It's not liberation. It's some like, oh, we're doing shit, but we're not really doing shit. We're changing the narrative. Yeah, right. And when people say she's worse than Maduro, they're not being dramatic. They're actually being quite precise. See, Maduro's just like Trump, right? He's sloppy, he's loud, and he's like, it's not my fault. But operates are different, right? She's disciplined, strategic, and efficient. So the system doesn't collapse. The system survives. And I want to talk about the thing that doesn't leave the conversation. Oil. Venezuela has the richest oil reserve on Earth. So Trump's like, all right, infrastructure's broken. The economy's sanctioned. The country is desperate for capital. They need money. Trump's plan? Let's use American taxpayer money to rebuild Venezuela's oil infrastructure. Then hand operational control to U.S. oil companies. Damn it. That's not aid. It's not charity. That's a state-funded corporate access to write checks for a little bit. Then we're going to cash the shit out of everything. See, we've seen this movie before. We've seen this in, let's say, a little place called Iraq. They removed the dictator. They declared temporary occupation, rebuilt the oil infrastructure, awarded contracts to U.S. firms. They promised democracy a little bit later, not right now. And the result, no sovereignty, long-term instability. A whole lot of people made a whole lot of money. Just not the people that actually deserve it. You change the names, Saddam, Maduro, Halliburton, becomes big oil. Iraq, Venezuela. Same incentive, same outcome. But this isn't just about Venezuela. You see, Venezuela shifts from Putin aligned to Trump aligned. Russia loses influence without actually confronting Russia. And Trump doesn't even need to stop Russia. He just needs to out-resource them. Big bank takes little bank, something like that. Now, this is where Ukraine enters the picture, right? Ukraine matters because of its position, its minerals, its leverage. But if Trump secures access to Venezuelan oil and Nigerian oil and minerals, Ukraine becomes optional. As a matter of fact, expendable. No urgency to end the war. There's no pressure on Russia. All those peace talks, who cares? Ukraine doesn't fall because Trump attacks it. Ukraine falls because it's no longer useful. And Nigeria completes like this triangle: oil, minerals, weak oversight, transactional leadership, and this diversification of the portfolio. You know, you're reducing all these hands in the cookie jar. You don't need them anymore. So you can ignore democracy. So if we break it down to the simplest question, who really benefits from all this? Like I said, oil companies and defensive contractors, Trump donors, the Maduro political machine. It just gets rebranded, just like the Kennedy Space Center. Trump. Who doesn't benefit? The people of Venezuela. American taxpayers. Ukrainian civilians. Democracy? Ever heard of that? There's no freedom, no peace, no benefit to us as Americans other than to say, here's my tax money. Keep on spending it however you want. Ballrooms, whatever you want. Private jets for your girlfriend who sucks as a singer. Whatever you want. Here's the truth stripped down of all of its emotion. If you remove the dictator, believe the dictatorship, what happens? If you rebuild oil fields with taxpayer money and call it liberation, then the only thing that changes is actually who signs the contracts. This is not conspiracy. This is just recognized game, right? Pattern recognition. This is not speculation. It's analyzing who is incentivized. This is seeing that the playbook just crossed out a name. We added a different name, and boom. Trump takes over where Iraq left off. Afghanistan, Libya. And when it's obviously laid out like this, there's only two responses, like I said. Either it makes sense or you deny because it makes too much sense. And just because you deny it doesn't make it false. It just makes it really uncomfortable. So, when you realize what's going on, You see the players in the game, and then all of a sudden you recognize the game. What point do you come to and say, what this guy is doing is absolutely wrong? How long will it take for you to realize that what this guy is doing to our country, he's going to do it to their country and another country? And these ripples that he's making become tidal waves, which become tsunamis, which become world wars. There is no checks and balances. There are no guardrails. The judicial system is handcuffed, either because it's tied or it's lied. Both. The amount of dirt that is on everybody doesn't exceed the weight or amount of blood that are on their hands. And there's going to be a point in time when people that are outside of this country are going to be like, boo Trump. And then they're just going to say, fuck it. Boo America. And at what point are we like, I don't blame them? America's not what America is supposed to be. It's not how you make America great. You don't punish the people that are here. You don't take away their money. You don't suppress their voices. You don't close down their schools. You don't supply their jobs with people that aren't really, that you're paying for overseas to fly back over here for a quarter of the cost. But people will complain about immigrants working in the orange groves or working lawnmowers and maintenance and restaurants. Nobody wants to work those jobs. They want to be influencers. They want to talk shit. I had a friend of mine who decided to comment on one of my clips and say, your clip has no views, no comments, no likes. You need to find another path. You need to take a walk. You need to give it a rest. So I said this. I said, listen, buddy, what you need to do is realize that the things that you're doing are not productive. You need to get off your ass and do something that is benefiting you. I don't think you commenting on my post is beneficial for you because you're doing what your idol does. Bullies. But yet you sit at home and you hunt for people who are trying to do things that are benefiting them and their family. Don't quit your day job. Well, I'm not quitting my day job. Matter of fact, I got like 5 jobs. And they're all important. And they all feed what I'm trying to do. Provide for my family. So if you want to discredit what I'm doing to make yourself feel better, well, have fun. Do you, homie. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I know for a fact that you'll hide behind your phone, but you won't come and see me and say that to my face. You are someone that is insecure. You hide behind faith. and you weaponize it just like your president does. I am very faithful. I believe that we are here for a purpose and for a reason. And if you think your reason is to talk shit on my podcast, or actually just to leave a comment on there and fall into the dust, then when I said at the beginning of all that you were my friend, you're really not my friend. And that's cool. It happens. I've noticed as the path that we walk, you start to lose people that don't mean that much to you. Because they decide that they would rather destroy than help you build. And if your hands aren't in to help build, then my circle gets tighter. And it really becomes a matter of either you come to your senses or you keep your distance because I don't want you near me. And I'm a very forgiving person. So we'll circle back to this conversation another day. But all I want to say is this. There's a lot of things going on in this world. There's still joy to be had. And if we can find it, we need to cherish it. And we need to take it with us through these battles. Because we're going to endure a lot. We already have. But it's only the beginning. But I tell you this. If we keep pushing, we keep talking, we keep gathering, we keep unifying, we keep voting, we keep canvassing, we keep on keeping on, then we're going to be all right. And what I have to say in closing is this. When all this dust settles and the fight is fought, you know what I mean. Where will you be afterwards? Are you going to come to the realization that it was obvious? Yeah, it's true. Cool. I'm with you. Or are you going to still deny it, even though it's right in front of your face? On that note, like, share, subscribe, all that shit. C4 Explosives. Against all pods. Shout out. OG Los. Mike Slingers. Chicago. Keep doing you, y'all. We're going to find out when shit hits the fan. I'm gone. Peace.